a lot has changed, even from 2020 to 2021, but I'm always going to reiterate it because it's very important for 2024 and beyond. I've said this so many times, guys, and I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's so important, and it's easier said than done, but it's important to be okay, and we are live. We are live, people. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Ricky2ra podcast, episode 79, I want to say. So, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you guys have been having a great week or a great day. Yeah, it's been pretty busy here in the shop. That's why I'm slightly late this week for all the podcast listeners that listen on Apple and Spotify, etc. So this will be releasing hopefully on a Sunday. You'll be listening to this instead of a Saturday. Everything should be back to schedule next week. I will go further into detail at that at the end of this episode if you're interested in why everything's a bit different or why I'm late. But anyway, without further ado, I want to jump straight in to this podcast episode because this is something that I've also dabbled in during the lockdown era. Remember that? We're in 2024 now, but this was back in the 2020 days. So yeah, it's building brand, and specifically building brand as a magician. Now, I'm no expert in this. I'm just, like every podcast episode, I just share stuff from my experiences, things that I've learned along the way. I'm sure there's more professional people out there that can tell you how to build your brand. I'm just saying it from my perspective. I'm not no professional, but I'm just giving you some insights and a bit of advice from my point of view, stuff that I've done. That's why I'm bringing this 2020/2021 kind of experience into this podcast episode. But building brand as a magician in 2024. In 2024, wow, a lot has changed, even from 2020 to 2021. So I want to try and bring this more into the modern era of what we could add possibly. But I just want to say that you have to be somewhat unique these days. And what I mean by that is, I remember back in 2020. I decided to actually start this podcast. I started in April 2020, by the way, so nearly 4 years. And I thought, you know what? I'm not getting out of the house anytime soon to perform magic. I'm mainly in here, guys. I should have actually filmed more episodes here in the shop, podcast episodes, but I didn't. But I was mainly here, and I was thinking, well, why don't I just film content in the shop? Because what else is there? I don't really want to film at home because I couldn't get much inspiration from it. Maybe a few videos, but not the full frame picture. So I decided to vlog in here. I decided to create some content in here. I even did non-magic content, which is the £5 munch video, which I've got on my homepage, where if you click on my YouTube channel, that'll just automatically play. I really enjoyed doing that, by the way. But I was just free. My mind was free. I didn't necessarily focus on magic. I didn't narrow it down to magic. I just expanded my content. One can say maybe possibly I diluted my content into a more shop content viewership, if that makes sense. And what I've realised from that is that made me unique, and I'm going to let you know why. Because first of all, you don't normally see a person in a shop vlogging, really. Like the actual person that works in the shop. I'm in a very unique position to do that. And secondly, you don't normally see magic performed in a shop one-on-one with the camera, necessarily. You don't get regular kind of content that comes through your feed. Possibly the well-known magicians and kind of your social media influencer magicians, but you don't normally get a shopkeeper doing magic. What I'm trying to say, and I say this in quite a few podcast episodes, but I'm always going to reiterate it because it's very important for 2024 and beyond. I believe that combining two passions, when I mean passions in quotation marks, if you combine two passions together, that creates something new, and that's how you're unique. So for myself, being here in the shop. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see that I film every episode here in the shop now. And I have a passion for magic, which is, in a way, I'm very lucky that I found magic because it complements the shop a lot. Meaning, I can do magic with possibly anything in the shop. With these gloves here, if you're watching on YouTube, with this beer here, with these chewing gums here, I could do anything. And I feel like being a magician, it really does open up doors in every single area that you can think of. It could possibly be the one genre or niche that can kind of go with everything. It can go with music, it can go with shops, it can go with restaurants, etc. However, other industries could possibly find it a little bit more difficult. If you're creative enough, you can do it. But I'm just saying possibly like, let's say like a country music singer in a shop, possibly if you change the song every video and maybe a different part of the shop. That's just giving an example. You can be more creative from that. But I feel like with the position that I'm in, it's a lot more flexible to do what I want to do. And that's where I bring it back to being somewhat unique. If you haven't found yourself as a magician, you shouldn't really be too worried about being unique at the start. But when I'm talking about building brand as a magician, I'm assuming that you've kind of got your style together. If you haven't, don't worry about it. You will find the style. I've talked about this in previous podcast episodes. Please check my podcast catalogue. I've talked about it thoroughly in a lot of episodes. But if you know what makes you unique, possibly you could have a signature effect that nobody else does. I know Dynamo had the Dynamo Shuffle. For those that don't know, it's basically just a civil cut, but he made it his own. He put his own style on it. I don't believe he stole it from anybody because the civil cut is universal for all magicians. But he put his own style on it to make it his own. And when another magician does a civil cut, unfortunately, everybody's going to draw it back to Dynamo. That's why I stopped doing the civil cut a long time ago in my performances. But yeah, please find what you're unique with. I just gave an example of myself, the shop and magic. That makes me unique. What makes you unique? I'm going to go back a little bit for the magicians that don't know what makes them unique. And here's something that I should actually be doing more often. I don't do it as often, and I should be doing it more. But in your own time, it should be your main focus if you don't know what your unique selling point is. And that is looking at what others are doing. So look at your other magicians. Look at who in your industry you would like to emulate. Who's the big dog that possibly you could get some sort of advice from online? Is there somebody out there? I know back in the day for me it was Dynamo. I remember even before Dynamo it was David Blaine. I remember before David Blaine it was Chris Angel. I kind of got a few things off them in my own style. I started to copy a little bit of David Blaine, a bit of Chris Angel, and a lot of Dynamo, and then slowly but surely I came out of my own shell and developed the Ricky2ra style. So yeah, look at what others are doing. Get a pen, get a paper, see what they do. Are they mysterious? Are they outgoing? Do they leave after the magic's done? Do they talk to the spectator? How do they communicate, etc.? And you'll notice that there are some similarities, but there are some differences between a load of magicians, and you can kind of see from them points and put it into yourself, into your performances, and see where you can go from there. And my next point, after you've done all of that, is see where you can add value into the marketplace. Is there a gap in the market for what you're doing? And it's very hard to say because I could not get my head around this a long time ago. Because at one moment in time in my magic career, you can kind of say, I was a magician for hire. And I was doing everything. I was doing kids' parties. I was doing anniversaries, golf club presentations, stage magic, close-up magic at birthdays, wedding magic, etc, etc. And that's all great when you're starting out, but what kind of market can you tap into that kind of you can make it your own, like you're the top dog in it? And that is very hard to do. And I'm not saying do it to be the top in it. Do it and then kind of build on yourself in it, because you never know, that market might not be for you and you can go somewhere else. At one point in time, I felt like I was the Indian magician in Leeds, meaning that I was performing at a lot of Indian weddings where magicians weren't there in Leeds. So I was doing quite a lot of Indian weddings, and if you've been to an Indian wedding, there could be hundreds, if not thousands of people in a hall that you're performing to. So a good stage magic show could be good there. I'm not a stage magician really, I'm a close-up magician, so just imagine to go to like a lot, and I mean a lot of tables to perform magic. You could be there for 3 hours plus if that's how you roll. But see where you can add value. For me, it was in Leeds. At that moment of time, it was being the magician for Indian weddings. And yeah, that's kind of where I tapped into once upon a time. What is it for you? And this kind of goes into, are you a niche? Meaning, what type of magician are you? Are you a wedding magician? Are you a coin magician? Are you a close-up magician? I think you've got to specify what you are as you're building your brand. Now, it's all good to kind of switch it up every now and again, but what are you actually known for? For me, I'm known for my close-up magic. I'm known for doing the shop magic, and I will be known for that. What are you known for? And does it work with you? You've got to find out why it works for you and how it works for you. And if you don't know, you've just got to try. And this possibly, I've said this so many times, guys, and I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's so important. And it's easier said than done, but it's important to be consistent. That's for your practice, that's for your performances, and most importantly for this topic, it's important for building your brand, because you want to create content, entertaining content for your viewers, and you've got to do that in a way where you're unique, you've got your niche, people know what you're known for, you're adding value to a marketplace where a lot of people haven't gone, or there's not many people there. Or, if you're lucky, you've created your own market, which is beautiful. And you've got to be consistent, with your content. And possibly that could make your brand rise, whether that's on social media or if you're a magician for hire, it could increase the bookings for you. So, but that's got to be done somehow at the start, all them points before you actually, go out there and film. Like, don't get me wrong. Always film your content. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you want to be somewhat the man, you should be doing that. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Ricky, I don't think you're the man. You're only sat on like 40 subscribers, mate. Like, what are you doing? Listen, this is just stuff that I think about, stuff that's from my experiences. And in my 2020/2021 days, I put out a load of content. And my followers slowly went up. I'm not saying they went up a ridiculous amount, but I could definitely see a difference in the consistency, because I was uploading maybe 7 times a week, 1 to 2 times a day possibly, and that made a big difference. But you have to have the content to put out. If you don't know what content you're putting out, then yeah, you're kind of screwed. So make sure you're consistent. Now, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Well, it's not really a secret. Gary Vee says it. I've probably said it before in a older episode. But the way to do this for online is you need to build pillar content, meaning you've got to have your long form content that you can kind of dissect and create into micro content which you can distribute. Now, I'm going to explain that like I'm 5 years old. Record a chunk of magic, long form, let's say street magic, so you've got a good 20 minutes worth of footage, unedited. Stick that on YouTube. and you're creating content from that 20-minute video. Let's say you make about 5 30-second clips of the most important parts of that video. You edit that, jobs are good done, you upload that onto TikTok, Instagram, etc. And then there you go, you let that do the work for you, and then hopefully your brand will build as time goes on, and the more consistent you are, hopefully the better you'll get at your content, your editing, etc. Possibly you can get a team in the future, more videographers, and you can go from there. And here's a suggestion for 2024. AI. Now you're probably thinking, well, Ricky, how can I add AI into my magic? Well, you can ask AI for advice, but I'm going to talk more on the content side for this as you're building your brand. You can actually get AI to edit your content for you, which I recently discovered, and it's a beautiful thing because it saves an astonishing, I'm going to say that again, it saves an astonishing amount of time. An astonishing amount of time. Honestly, it took me probably about a couple of hours to make 2 pieces of content, and I mean like short form, vertical, subtitles on, a bit of LUTs on the colour correction, etc. Honestly, that took me 2 hours for 2 pieces of content for like 20-30 seconds. I give it to AI, it takes it about, 30 seconds, 10 minutes at max to make 80 plus pieces of content for you. With everything already added. I cannot believe it. I could not believe it when I saw it, guys. So please use AI to your advantage on that as well. That's all I'm going to say for that. Now, I need to do better at my short form content, but you can see on my channel I've started using AI to kind of edit my videos, and you can see on some short form content it's picking up slowly. The more I do it, the better I'll get. But I remember back in the 2020, 2021 days, I used to edit everything from scratch, from my pillar content, from my vlogs, from the £5 munch video, which was all raw. Then I used to edit that and put it up online. I feel that, you don't really need to do as much hard work as you think you do. You just need to focus on what you're going to perform, how you're going to perform it, and the right people to perform for. And I've talked about that all in my past episodes. Please check them out. But one of the main things here, apart from being consistent, is you have to be patient and you have to keep going. Now, I'm a very impatient person at times, and you've got to be patient, meaning it's not going to happen overnight. So you're not going to do like 1 to 3 months and blow up, unless you have a fire video which you don't know about, which you upload to TikTok and one day and it goes viral. But that's like winning the lottery, perhaps. So you've got to be patient and you've got to keep going. And that's probably how I'm going to end this video, guys. And yeah, please listen to this again, because I felt like I made a lot of important points here in building your brand as a magician. I'm not saying that this advice here is going to make you millions of dollars or millions of pounds and you're gonna tour the world and stuff. This is just stuff from what I found out, and hopefully I can pass on to you guys and you can improve on it. Let me know if this was of any value to you guys whatsoever. I'm just giving out free stuff which I've learned in the past and what I'm going through, and we'll see in like 2 to 3 years time if this works for myself. But yeah, guys, I'm going to end the podcast here. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. I'm just going to do a little side note from the start of this episode if you guys are still listening. We've actually had new fridges put in the shop this week. So I'm filming this on a Saturday. Normally I film on a Monday, but from the start of the week the shop's just been absolutely everywhere. So if you're looking on YouTube, like, it looks the same, but you can probably see this fridge at the back. That's new. You can't see it in the camera, but I've got a few other fridges there that are new. It's been a lot of hard work, guys, and I feel absolutely shattered, but I'm here. Maybe I feel a little bit, maybe I sound a little bit more like I've got no tone to this episode, but honestly, guys, I can fall asleep right now. But yeah, it's been a mad week, but we will be back on schedule for next week. So all your podcast listeners, all your listeners out there for Spotify, Apple, etc., you will be getting back to normal schedule for next Saturday on the listening, and obviously the YouTube videos will be out for Sunday. I will try my best to get this out for Sunday. So if you guys are watching and listening this on a Sunday, I've done it. If not, I apologise, but I'm going to try my best to. Yeah, guys, it's been a crazy week, but I hope this advice that I've given you is of any value. Please let me know in the comments below. And if I haven't said it in the last episode, Happy New Year. I wish you guys a very blessed 2024. And I will see you guys in the next podcast episode. So, guys, this has been your boy Ricky2ra. Peace, stay strong, and remember always, follow your dreams.